Dynamax Entei is coming this weekend to Pokemon Go for the first time ever. So if you are excited about this, you want to try to get one, this is going to be the video for you because we're going to go over the 100% IVs, the top tips, tricks, strategies, and battle parties to make sure you optimize this legendary Dynamax in Pokemon Go. So welcome to the Trainer Club. Here we go. The Dynamax weekend is going down on April 26th and 27th. It's going to be starting at 6 a.m. and it's going to go until day close, which is going to be 9 p.m. And there is going to be Dynamax Entei populating pretty much all of the spots throughout the entire weekend. So if you guys do want this Pokemon, it does have the shiny out. It is a cool looking Pokemon. It is going to be effective. Obviously the Gigantamax are quite strong as well, so might not be the most effective fire type in the game, but while it's out, we might as well hunt it and we might as well get the shiny. Throughout this entire weekend, we are going to be getting bonuses. So we will be able to collect 1,600 particles per day, which allows us to do 2 raids per day. So at a base minimum, guys, you can do a grand total over the weekend of 4 free max particle encounters with this Entei. So you might as well go ahead and complete it. In order to receive more of the particles, you have 1/4 adventure distance. So that's going to be 0.5 kilometers. The power spots will refresh more frequently, and then you're going to get 8 times the amount of particles when going to a spot. So that means every single time you go there, you're going to be getting 800, which is how much it does take to compete in one battle. So it's really not a ton of effort to be able to collect here. They're making it pretty easy to make sure that we are able to do these Dynamax and Gigantamax encounters. Let me know what you guys are thinking about this system as of now, since it's been in the game for a little bit of time. And throughout this entire week, we're going to be getting 3/4 max particle cost to be able to unlock some of the max moves. So for me personally, I did get the 100% IV Snorlax for the Gigantamax. So if you want to see that video, check it out up here. So I will be unlocking its moves. I already have moves built up that are going to work for this Entei. And then throughout this entire week, there is going to be the lead up, which will get you a Dynamax Sobble and some other things throughout the week. So please make sure to complete this if you want it. And if it doesn't make sense because of the particles given, because it's only giving you 300 particles 3 times and then 500 for the completion, but when it's giving you those particles, it's asking quite a bit from your particles at the same time. So spending to get a little bit back doesn't really make too much sense. But if you do spend anyway, you plan to spend to unlock some of these moves, this would work for you. Alrighty, so now let's get down into the Entei. So what I've noticed from all of the legendaries that we have battled in the Dynamax form, that is if you have some pretty decent counters and you are in a party of 4 or even 3, what I've seen is to just try to take this Pokemon down just right off the rip. Don't worry about going after this Pokemon from a strategic standpoint of like, hey, let's do our heals and let's do our guards. Is all you have to do is just go straight after this Pokemon and try your best to take it down as fast as possible. That's what I've seen work the most efficiently and be able to take these Pokemon down the fastest. As far as Entei goes, this is an all fire type. The 100% IV will be 1984, so please make sure to remember that. With it being all fire type, it's going to be weak to ground, rock, as well as water. And it's going to resist bug, fairy, fire, grass, ice, as well as steel. So the one thing I am going to point out before we jump into it is that a lot of us think like, oh, Gigantamax Lapras. Well, the problem with that one is that it does get an ice move, and this Pokemon is a fire typing, and fire is not weak to ice. So the Gigantamax Lapras is going to be one that you skip out on. And also it is a water and an ice type, so it is going to be neutral to fire. It's not even going to resist fire because ice is weak and water resists. So what are we going to use for the top counters? Well, the #1 counter against this Pokemon is going to be the Gigantamax Kingler. And it is saying to go in with a ground move, but it doesn't matter what moves you use on the Gigantamax because they are only locked to one of their move sets. So this one is saying Mud Shot, but once again, it doesn't matter because you don't even really use the moves until it goes into the Gigantamax, and then you're going to start using that Gigantamax move, and the Gigantamax will be locked to 1. It doesn't matter what the fast move is, but the Dynamax does matter. The next is going to be the Inteleon with Water Gun, Dynamax Kingler with Bubble, so here is going to be where it does matter. The next one is going to be Excadrill with Mud Slap. I'm going to say be cautious with the Excadrill because it is a steel type and ground type, so it will take additional damage from fire moves. In the Gigantamax Blastoise with Water Gun, and then we have the Gigantamax Gengar with Lick. So what my party is gonna look like is gonna be looking like Kingler. It is gonna be doing Dynamax Blastoise and then a third Dynamax Blastoise. And if you really wanna go for something tankier to kind of keep you alive, you can go for a Blissey here. But for me personally, looking at this Pokemon, I might even on the back end throw in an Excadrill just to use for an attack if I do need a third Pokemon. But I'm anticipating that when I am in there with a level 40 Dynamax Kingler and a level 40 Blastoise, I will not need to go beyond either of those two Pokemon. Also, I am going to point out that Mega Level 3, if we do go after a Fire type, or even better, the Primal Groudon, that's going to cover all the XL candy boosts when catching these Pokemon, which will be the Groudon Primal. So if you have it at Mega Level 3, use that Pokemon when going after these Enteis. It won't be able to enter the battle, but it does help with catching it and getting you more optimized XL candy so you don't miss out on much. And also for these attackers, according to Pokemon Go Hub and the game, it says that Gigantamax does significantly more damage than does the Dynamax, which then leads us into the situation where we do have the Entei as a Dynamax in the game, which would be outplayed by a Gigantamax with a fire form. So these Pokemon I think are cool. Do I go crazy hard for them? No. I would much rather go crazy hard for a Gigantamax Pokemon because it is more effective when coming down to it. But at the same time, this is a cool Pokemon. I like the shinies, and I do enjoy playing with these different systems that are in the game now as opposed to just sitting there. And the key for your attackers is having their attack move at the level 3. So obviously something like a Toxtricity is a little bit more challenging because the level 3 moves take 50 XL candy. On the Blastoise, it's had multiple Calm Days, so that was easy. On the Kingler, that one is a little bit more challenging because I have never focused on it, but now that I do see it as a valuable Pokemon in the Gigantamax system, anytime it does make its way into events, I will be putting on a Water Mega level 3 to optimize more XL candy for that. But the attack is the most important, so my Blastoise as well as my Kingler, they do have a max move at level 3, which then leads us to the best tanks. So I am coming around quite significantly for this Blissey. It's been multiply featured as a defensive Pokemon that really is able to use as a tank. So what I am going to do after I level up the moves on my Snorlax is I will be doing some Dynamax Chansey raids, and then I will be swapping them in trades to try to get lucky ones. And if I get a shiny one, I will be swapping that, but this one is very effective. However, the one it's not going to be effective with is going to be against the Dynamax Machamp because fighting is effective against normal. But outside of these fighting Pokemon, it is very effective here, especially to sit in that tank spot and really try to absorb a lot of moves. So having a lucky one and being able to power up to level 40 is going to be effective for you. Other tanks include Gigantamax Blastoise, Kingler Dynamax, Snorlax Gigantamax with Lick, Inteleon Dynamax, and Lapras with Water Gun. And so since I already have the Snorlax to level 50, I will also add another Blissey in there at level 40, and then I will have a solid tank team. The other thing to note is that these tanks should have the max shield all the way to max 3. So that's going to be effective because if you have a tank in there, it's going to be taking damage, and then if you need to shield it to make sure it doesn't take more damage, that would really help. And then we move into the healers. So for me, when I'm going in against my tanks and I'm also using my attackers, I always put a max move level 3 for the Spirit so that I can heal these Pokemon and I don't have to have another separate Pokemon. The max healers recommended are Blissey, Greedent, Lapras in the Gigantamax and Dynamax, and the Gigantamax Snorlax. So as far as optimizing this, you guys know everything. The best and most strategic way, especially for the Dynamax, is to just go in there with at least 2 attackers that are leveled up that have max moves that do the most damage, and then they also can have the max spirit as well as the max shield so that you can help out with these Pokemon. And then for me, my third Pokemon will be a Snorlax in there. So I'm looking at Kingler, I'm looking at Blastoise in the Gigantamax, and then I'm looking at Snorlax. So that's going to be what my team looks like, and then going in there and just powering the moves, because remember guys, it is important to take these Pokemon down fast so that you don't have to worry about waiting for other things. And I found this to be the most effective with these max moves at level 3 in these Gigantamax Pokemon. And then also another strategy, if you have to go a little bit lower, is to have that tank in there to accept the moves. Once you are going to Dynamax or Gigantamax, you switch into those attackers and then you switch back on the way out. So you don't have to take damage on those attackers, they could do the most damage. And then finally, please make sure to never do specials unless you're getting very close to taking out the Pokemon. Like if there's a 16th health, Sometimes I'll recommend to just do the specials because why not? But if you are looking at half the health, is all you really want to focus on is doing quick moves, because that will charge the meter, focus on the bubbles when they pop up, make sure everybody's watching their screens so that you can get to the Dynamax or Gigantamax form fastest, because then you will take no damage when in that form and you can take that Pokemon down the fastest. So that's everything we need to know about Dynamax Entei and Pokemon Go. Let me know in the comments below where you're at with this system. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. I am in Atlanta, so this week we will be doing the Raid Hour in Smyrna Market Village at 6 p.m. for Cresselia. I can't wait to see you guys there, and I will see you all very soon. Thank you guys for being here. To all my likers, commenters, subscribers, Patreon members, everybody takes your support, subscription, and participation to X level. I'm going to see you guys out on the next video. Peace.
I want to take this time to thank everybody who supports me in every facet. It means the world to me, and an extra special thank you to all my Patreons. I greatly appreciate the extra support to continue to allow me to pursue Pokemon Go full time, allowing me to create my daily video uploads in the most timely fashion for everyone's benefit. Plus, I get the amazing experience of sharing my creative processes behind the scenes and raiding all around the globe with select upper tiers. Thank you everybody for being a part of the Trainer Club. You all mean the absolute world to me, and I will see you guys out on the next video.